Hey, happy Monday, everyone. Hope you are doing well. It is a new week. We're off to the end of the month of June. We are beginning the last week of June, and summer is in full swing here in San Diego. Although we still have the what we call here the June gloom. So during this time of the year, in May we get what's called the May gray because of the overcast, the marine layer that comes in. And then in June, it kind of spills over and we call it the June gloom. But it's only in the mornings, and then as the day goes by, the sun comes out, the clouds dissipate. And then about mid-June, by mid-July, we have complete sunshine and it gets warmer. At any rate, it's a beautiful day. I hope it is where you are. And this is In the Raw, unpracticed, unscripted, unedited conversation. We've been talking about the challenge in seeking God, and talking about why that's a challenge for many of us, for if not all of us, and we are taking as an example the life of King Asa, not a very known character in the Bible, not a very known person. His story is in the book of Second Chronicles, and we've been talking about how he decided to seek God and the decisions he had to make. So in the last video, we talked about the first decision. We introduced it. So let's go ahead and get into it and talk about that. So the first decision is found in Second Chronicles 14:2. I'll read it, and it says, Asa did what was pleasing and good in the sight of the Lord his God. So the first decision that we need to make if we are going to seek God and if we are going to find him is make an effort to please God. We have to make an effort to please God. That's what Asa did. And in order to understand the meaning of this verse, we have to understand Asa's background. I kind of talked about it a little bit in the previous videos, but here's a little bit more information about him. He was raised by his grandmother, who worshipped false gods. Nothing is known about his mother. We don't know anything about his mother. He was raised by his grandmother. He did grow up in a pagan world without morals. He had no reference to who God was. In the middle of all this, he has an encounter with God and decides to take a risk. And that's where the effort comes in. He made that effort. He risked everything to please God. He followed him. He risked his own crown. He went against his family and his people, and he risked his reputation in order to please God. And so that, if we're going to take risks, it needs to be done with effort, right? Risks are not risks if you don't, make an effort. And so this was the effort that he had. My question for you, though, is what are you willing to risk to please God? If you want to find him, if you're seeking God, if you're seeking something in your life and you want to find that relationship with God, what are you willing to risk to please God? In what area of your life do you need to take a step of faith? And you got to remember, we have to decide to have faith. That's a decision. Maybe it means doing what's right with your family and your job, maybe in your personal life. What is that pleases God? Asa decided to go against the flow and did what was good and pleasing in the sight of God. So we got to think, what am I involved in my life that I need to risk in order to please God? Is it my reputation? Asa risked his reputation. Is it my reputation? My good standing with other people? The other day, I read a story about someone who lost his job because he did not want to participate in a corruption scheme at the request of his boss. It happens, right? This person ran a factory and was asked to pay workers in cash so as not to report certain, taxes to the government. And he decided not to do it. And his boss told him that if he didn't cooperate, if he didn't comply with that request, he would lose his job. And that's what happened. He risked his job. Sometimes, we're kind of laid back and comfortable, and that doesn't, all that stuff, that attitude doesn't allow us to take risks to please God. Our faith in God falls short. We don't believe enough. We find it difficult to believe what God says and what he says in his word, what he says he will do in his word. But the Bible says that he honors those who honor him. If we love him, all things will work out for the best. The Bible says it that way. Everything will work out for the best. There are many passages that speak about this in the Bible, in fact. And back to the person who lost their job, God had a better one for him, with more income and more benefits, just a better working condition. And so, he was willing to take a risk, and God honored him. We must be willing to take risks ourselves for God. He risked his son Jesus for us, so we need to think of that when we are seeking him. If we want to see God with all of our hearts, we have to be willing to make an effort for him. So I want you to analyze where you need to make an effort to please God. Where in your life do you need to make an effort to please God? And so that is the first decision that Asa made. He was willing to take a risk to please God and make an effort to please God. We need to make an effort to please God. All right, next time we will talk about the second decision that Asa made in order to seek God and find him. All right, I hope you have an amazing rest of this day, amazing rest of this week. We will talk to you soon.